Hi, it's Ryan Norberg with Racers360, and today's track guide is going to be of the Simraceway Kart Track in Sonoma, California. A few things I want to mention before we get started on this video is the elevation of this racetrack. One of the key characteristics of Simraceway is the elevation. The elevation makes this track really difficult. A lot of the corners on entry, the elevation is getting higher, while on exit, it slopes away. This creates a weird transition from having a bunch of grip on entry into the corner and then losing it center off. But it's easy to overcome if you know the way around the racetrack. So let's get started. So immediately out the gate, you can see that there's a big elevation change going into turn one. You can see how that elevation is sloping upwards and then kind of falling off as you get towards the peak of the corner. That's definitely something to look for, because if you get on the gas while you're still going on the elevation going upwards, your kart is just going to slide off the track as soon as you get over the crest of the hill. Now you'll see the big change in elevation as we get closer to the corner. So right here, we've gotten just before the apex, and you can already see the track is falling off dramatically. This is really important because it makes you get on the throttle really late. If you get on the gas too soon, like I said, as soon as you get over that crest, the back end's just going to step out. So you really want to focus on almost after the apex. That's where you're going to apply the throttle, and you're going to be almost straight coming off this corner, just powering down to the second corner. You can see used all the track on exit, but it was almost after the apex that I got on the throttle. Again, late acceleration is really key here, especially when you're dealing with elevation like this, because it allows you just to have that control of the go-kart as you come off the corner and reduce the slide, which will make you more consistent. Now we enter into the second corner here. This second corner is basically one part of three. This is the Tic Tac Toe section. Basically, turns 2, 3, and 4 are all connected, and they all come up really fast. Again, you're dealing with elevation change, and the track is falling away as you're entering the corner here. And you're also dealing with 3 consecutive corners that are coming up really fast. The big key thing to work on here is making sure you hit all these curbs straight so that the kart does not bounce around off these curbs too hard. If you have too much input in the steering wheel when you hit a curb, the kart is just going to react too much, and it's going to throw the rear end around, or you're just going to be bouncing off these curbs, and it's just going to make it a really rough ride through this section. So something to focus on is just to keep the go-kart straight over these curbs as you enter 2, 3, and 4. Right now, you can already see there's a straight line that I'm going to try and create through this whole section so that I can hit all 3 curbs correctly. Obviously, it's not a completely straight line, but you get the idea that I'm going to try and keep the go-kart after I hit this first curb as straight as I can over turns 3 and turns 4 so that I can get a nice straight line and reduce the bouncing off of these curbs. And so in turn 2, we're going to go over the first curb, land, try and hit the second curb as straight as we can with as little input as we can in the steering wheel. This curb we're going to hit a little bit harder. And then again, we're going to try and make a straight line to the next corner. From this point on, it should be an easy, just straight line down over the next curb. And so we land off turn 3, nice, just over the curb in turn 4. If you hit it just straight enough, you really won't feel the curb that much. That one is kind of flat. It's considered a part of turn 5. Turn 4 and turn 5 kind of lead into each other as well. But yeah, if you just hit the curb straight enough, it's definitely just going to be a smooth ride over that last curb, and it'll set you up perfectly into turn 5 here. And as you can see there, as I went into turn 5, I got a nice late acceleration on it. This corner is really tricky because there's a lot of grip down in there, and the track starts to increase in elevation. So now you're getting a lot of the grip just created by the racetrack itself. So what tends to happen is drivers tend to get on the gas really early, but then they run out of track on exit because the kart just wants to go straight off the corner, and then they just end up dipping a tire and just losing time overall. So a key thing here is to go in with a lot of speed into turn 4, so that when you carry that speed into turn 5, you don't have to get on the gas super early, and you can get a nice straight acceleration off this corner. And then I also want to mention that off of this corner, the exit of the racetrack tends to disappear pretty fast. And so you want to make sure, obviously, that you don't get on the gas too soon because there's not that much track on exit to rely on. So we come off the corner, and you can already see that I'm past the track limits. Obviously, the end of the curb is about right here, so I'd be dipping a tire. But you can use that little bit of extra track as you come out of the corner, but you just got to make sure you get the kart back quick enough, because that track runs out really fast and you'll lose that extra bit of track that you're using. really quickly. So you want to make sure, again, late acceleration off this corner, nice and straight. You can kind of cheat it out a little bit, but make sure you get your cart back to the right-hand side just enough so that you can stay within the track limit. And now we head into turn 6. Turn 6 is really like turn 1, except with a little less elevation on entry. You don't get that same grip that you had in turn 1 as you enter the corner, but the track definitely does fall off on exit. So you are going to feel a little bit of a slide. I can guarantee you, I spent the whole week trying to fix my go-kart to get to this corner and to not slide on exit. But the only real solution I could find was just getting on the throttle late, trying to carry enough speed into the corner that I could get on the throttle late, and then getting the cart nice and straight and good acceleration off. No matter what I did to the chassis, I could do everything I wanted and nothing gave it grip in this corner because naturally the track falls away and you just lose that grip center off. So it's really, really important that you get a nice late acceleration out of this corner, but also carry enough speed into the corner so that you can get a nice late acceleration out of the corner. So you see basic apex, not anything crazy going on there. Big key was getting the gas late, getting a nice acceleration off this corner to minimize that slide and minimize the chances of you going off and creating an inconsistent, slower lap time. Turn 7 and 8, pretty simple, easy flat out corner. Now turn 9 is a really important corner. You can see already that the track has a huge drop off on exit. And so this corner especially, it's going to be super important that you get a nice late acceleration off this corner so that you can get the cart straight and moving down towards the next one. I'll show you as you get closer, but just a thing to remember, as soon as you want to get on the gas, the cart wants to go straight. And when the track drops off like that on exit, it only makes it that much harder for you to keep the cart going the direction you want it to. So nice late braking, late acceleration off the corner. You can see right here how drastic the track is falling off. I mean, there's so much elevation and momentum that wants to go to the outside of the racetrack. If you don't get on the gas late, you'll have no ability to keep the cart pointed the right direction. It's such a long corner as well that there's so much time that can be wasted by going out that wide and traveling that much distance on the exit. So really focus, go into the corner hard, carry a lot of speed into the center of the corner, but get on the gas late, get the cart straight and come off this corner tight so you can get a nice straight run down to the next corner. Using all the track on exit. And now turn 10 is also a really difficult corner. It's the second slowest corner on the racetrack, but it feels like the slowest. This is the only corner that if you get on the gas too late, it's just gonna kill the engine and you're gonna have no momentum going down into the last corner. You wanna approach this corner like you would any hairpin, but you do wanna feed it a little bit of throttle before you get to the apex just to keep the speed up so you can come out of this corner in the power band and get down into the last corner. It's important here that you don't focus too much on trying to be nice and neat, but more focus on trying to roll speed through this corner, trying to get in there with enough speed so that the cart doesn't overslow in the center of the corner, but also enough that you can get on the gas a little bit early and it's not going to make the go-kart step out on exit. See there, it was a little acceleration initially, just enough to kind of keep the engine going. And then we're going to use all the track on exit. It's a super tight corner, so it's super important to let the cart come off this corner. Use every inch of the racetrack. I probably dropped a little bit of my left rear in the dirt there, but again, you just want to use as much track as you can off this corner because even though it's not the slowest corner on the racetrack, if you mess it up, it will easily become the slowest corner on the racetrack and you'll lose a ton of time in this corner. And now the last corner is really deceiving. As you can see the track already, there's a lot of elevation going up towards the corner. And so you're kind of deceived because you see that the track, the elevation is working in your favor and you're like, wow, I can carry a lot of speed into this corner. And it feels like that as you get into the corner. The first 3 corners of the corner, you'll feel like you have a lot of grip and you'll feel super confident with the go-kart. The problem is as soon as you get to the last quarter of the corner, it's going to fall off and the back end is going to step out. So it's super important. Again, I'm going to stress this every single corner that you get a nice late acceleration on the go-kart, and that'll keep the cart straight and avoid sliding off the corner, especially onto the front straightaway, which is a passing zone and one of the most important parts of the track. And you see there, again, past the apex when I get on the throttle. Even though it's a little sharper than a 90-degree corner, it still is a fast corner, but you want to make sure you get on the gas nice and late and keep the cart underneath you on exit because the track always falls off on exit in a lot of these corners. Use all the track on exit. The straightaway also isn't very straight. You know, there's a turn in it the whole time. So some guys tend to run the outside line here. Don't go all the way to the outside on the straightaway. You don't really need to. I tend to run inside the inside tram line is about where I stay. And then as I get past the start finish line, I'll creep back up for the braking zone for turn 1. And that's a lap around Simraceway Kart Track in Sonoma, California. If you want any more coaching from me or any of our other expert coaches, go to Racers360.com and sign up there to get your own personalized coaching. And now here's a lap around Simraceway Kart Track.